Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, councillors, citizens, residents, visitors, and welcome back to the Cravenstown streaming complex on this Sunday, the 28th of... Oh God, just for the slightest second I actually panicked and I hadn't unmuted the microphone, but I totally have. For Sunday, the 28th of July 2019. If it is your first time here, a hearty hello. Whether it is your 1 or 1000th visit, a very warm welcome to Story Sunday. And my goodness, I think we've got a new record for submissions going on. Let me just catch up on who's Citizen Effects coming in looking mighty legit. Missed you as well. Citizen Cherry Round, good evening to you. Hello, one and all. Right, got an absolute boatload to get through. Just FYI, if you haven't been here before and you're thinking I'm a little bit laggy, fractionally laggy on my webcam, that is because our part 2 game, Pillars of Eternity 2, is running in the background the whole time. It's got a very long front end loading time on it, as far as like long by streaming standards is concerned, so I always have it booted up in the background, but it seems that frames are not really being dropped too much, so we're alright. And it's the end of the week. I hope you've had a good one. I hope things are well. And the heat wave here in the UK at least has finally dissipated off, and it's actually, I don't have to have the fan running. Other things like kind of just dropped off nicely. It's a comfortable 25 degrees C in here, Celsius, with a breeze, and all is good. So it feels like a week since I saw you live. Don't know why it's been a long week. Now I understand, of course, effects with what you've been going on. You come in a couple of times right as we've finished and all that, so that's all good, my dude. That is all good. I totally get you where you're coming from, and yeah, if you've been seriously busy, then it's even more that way. Speaking of seriously busy, yeah, Christ, this weekend has flown by. I had a pretty quiet one, not gonna lie. I just realized my second monitor is a bit too far off to one side. No, it's not actually. I know why. It's because I brought my mic closer in, so I'm just gonna shift it fractionally just so I can see everything clearly for being full screen. Sexy, awesome. Citizen Dex, how you doing? I'm only crawled out of my woman cave today. Legitimately only crawled out of my woman cave today. Also, hello! Because you got to scream it when it's in caps. How you doing, mate? Good to catch you earlier. I'm glad I caught a little bit of your streams. There's always a random little thing because your schedule is whim and free time based. I'm like, oh, Dex is on, right? I'll get some Sunday shenanigans for some of that. So yeah, what's been going on since Thursday? And oh yeah, I'm also really glad that the weather's eased down because I noticed. I'm sorry about this. I noticed on the Thursday stream, on Tactical Thursday with Darkest Dungeon, that there was this background almost breath echo. After I said something and like stop, there would be this like noise, like a little thing going on every time after I spoke. It eventually dropped off, but it lasted for like 2 hours, and I'm wondering if it was the mic, which obviously it spikes and starts picking things up when I start talking, picking up a little bit of fan noise. I hope that's what was the case. And anyway, the fan's not on. I don't need it because everything's at a more livable temperature, so that's all good. But yeah, if you noticed that, and thank you for putting up with it and sticking around. If you did, if you didn't, like just pretend I didn't say anything. Yeah, no, just what I'm doing down is looking down. That's where I keep my diary. It's down there. It's such a shame for yesterday. Yeah, right. So yes, I should address that first actually, because as per usual, I never write down a single.
Hoy, Pride Lion, hey.
Well, the Pride Lion Hey gave it away. I was about to say it's probably Darkens. Citizen Darkens, hello to you. Hoy, thank you so much for the 75 Pride Lion Hey biddies. I just caught up with Happy RBP. Yeah, so I really should on the Sundays, especially where I do my sort of longer warm-up as we go into Story Sunday bit, and like what's been going on in a prep before we sort of a preface before we start the next streaming week. I should write things down. I never do, so appreciate my usual ad-libby stream of consciousness thoughts. But yeah, Retro Block Party, it was completely unfortunate. Basically what happened was in about halfway through the slot before mine, something seemingly went very wrong with Twitch's end, authentication logging in. So for those of you who don't stream or don't necessarily do it this way, there are two ways to log in when you go live, and there used to be one until recently, and that main one is using a stream key, big long numbers and letters, and that you put into your broadcasting software on your account, and that's how it like goes live to your thing on Twitch, Mixer, D-Live, whatever you use. And that used to be the only way. More recently, there's a second method, which is you can connect your account. So you can connect a streaming account to the software, so it's integrated and thus it's sort of already logged in, as it were. Anyhow, if you want to stream to some other platform or other channel, which is obviously what we do with charity channels like Retro Block Party, you still need to use a stream key. And about an hour before I was due to go live, or some point within that period of time, all streaming key logins, because that all has to be authenticated and logged in at the same time, stopped working completely. And you go, we found this out half an hour before I was due to go on, because you're supposed to show up half an hour before your slot to do sound checks and just generally to make sure that everything works in case anything like this happens. And I was on there with Sir Frank Otter and Traz, and one's a Gino Garin, sorry, as well. Anyway, one of us in the UK, myself, Traz is in Australia, and Garen's in the US. And yeah, between that's 3 continents. We tried multiple test channels that they have. They have 6 channels available that they can go to as test things for broadcasting to Retro Block Party. I tried my own dummy account, my Kraybot's own account, which I still use a stream key for, yada yada yada. And yeah, in Streamlabs and OBS Studio and Streamlabs OBS, nothing was logging in correctly. What else? Yeah, from all over the world, nothing was coming in correctly, and yet there was nothing could be done. We ruled out that it was software at our end, that it was a localized problem with a particular country or region or anything else. Twitch just shit the bed, and this is mostly annoying because I think now a huge number of people log in with the connected account thing, and the reason that's why I mentioned it, because other people were managing to go online, and when we were wrapped up, I did a test stream, so I wouldn't go live, but I thought, right, I want to log in and see. I had a hunch that having your connected account would be fine, because Twitch's Twitch support, the official channel, wasn't mentioning like, oh yeah, sorry, there's a major problem, we're trying our best to work on it, but no one was getting on. So yeah, my slot was wiped out. The slot after mine was all gone as well. In the end, they decided to do the emergency method of actually each person hosting the show on their own channel and then raiding the next person on the itinerary, on the schedule. I would have loved that could have been done, because that would have been cool, and then you guys would have just been able to come to my channel and see me do my bit, but it couldn't be helped. The organisers worked their asses off. It was just a total failure at Twitch's end. I am a little bit annoyed that there was so little, to my knowledge, as far as I can see, mention of it. They just it was somehow resolved later, but because most people now log in with a connected account, they didn't seem to pay it much mind. I won't lie, I was quite disappointed, because I have now done, that would have been my 6th appearance. I've done 5th or 6th, anyway. Yeah, I think 6th, because I've done 3 appearances when it was under DGDS and 1 or 2 under Retro Block Party, and this was either going to be my 2nd or my 3rd. Either way, it was going to be my 5th or 6th appearance, but it was going to be my first one for a mental health charity. We were supporting Rise Above Disorder, which are charity's efforts to try and help provide free mental health care worldwide, which is a pretty noble and really good goal, and obviously completely in keeping with one of the major focuses, secondary hooks as well, of what our community is about. I mean, it's just a nice positive community and based around the idea of a town, as you all know, but mental health and supporting it more than just in a token fashion is quite core to our ethos. And in potentially 5 appearances, I've never been on one of the slots months that's done a mental health charity, and they support mental health stuff quite a lot. The closest I've come is like suicide prevention for veterans, and I was like, yes, finally I'm going to be on a month that's doing mental health support, and then it just went. So again, no criticism or complaint to Retro Block Party. They tried their best. People were staying up like 22 hours at a time. The organisers doing it all for free and everything else. That the blame and fault lies squarely at Twitch's door. But I'd finish off just on this little rather somber note to, as far as I can, apologise to you guys. So I know a number of you were looking forward to that. A couple of people have even from America had even set alarms that they'd wanted to come and catch my segment. For otherwise, those of you in Europe, it was going to be at quite a reasonable hour for all of you. So sorry, special Saturday. It was going to be an extra special Saturday, and Twitch really dropped the ball. Their authentication login really failed, and but still, it sucks that I wasn't able to do that for all of you folks. Yeah, Dex, like you say, just caught up with it. I appreciate the. It was a bummer. Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a shame, as you say. Better luck next time, and a basic human right, in your honest opinion, regarding free support for mental health. Yes, I can imagine. I would agree with you, and I hope things will evolve that way regarding mental health support, Dex. Certainly in terms of acceptance of it. There is a small silver lining to that rather bleak cloud, because it was nothing to do with any error by the organisers or myself, and I showed up in good time, completely prepared to do my slot, and I actually stayed for the whole time, trying to log in every 2 to 5 minutes for the whole 2 hours that I was supposed to be going. I've been told I will be a shoo-in for next month, so they do it every month, and I think the month for August is going to be supporting the I've forgotten the name of the charity or the condition, but do you guys remember the Ice Bucket Challenge? It got very popular briefly, like a couple of years ago, and it was in support of this particular condition or illness, and ALS, that was it. Thank you, and hello, Citizen Naked Housewife. I was at a convention on Saturday, didn't know anything about it. Oh, well, Darkin said you wouldn't have been able to join in if you're at a convention, but if you wanted to know about it, I did a mayoral announcement. So from the mayor's podium, that's why don't forget to keep please, if you've got it muted, please unmute the mayor's podium. This goes to everyone, because any announcements that go in there, they're not all that common, but they matter to everyone in the community. They are things like Retro Block Party, or major updates like a new emote, big things I'm working on, special announcements that I really want you all to see. So if you see a tag with a new message at everyone in the mayor's podium, please do check that out. And I forgot the name we use here. ALS. Oh right, sorry, Darkins. Yeah, no, I didn't put any further things because I was too busy trying to stay present and see if we could get it resolved while I still had some time to do it. But yeah, the announcement is there. I'll probably delete it and update it with one for August instead, but I'm supposed to be guaranteed a slot in the August one, so there still will be some Contra 3 and Cuphead. Alright, so that's Retro Block Party. That's what happened. It sucks. For as far as I can be, I am sorry that any of you that were looking forward to that, but you'll just have to wait another month and I'll be in the August one instead supporting ALS. Which is a very quick side note on ALS, and I really mean quick. From what I heard, that the Ice Bucket Challenge, it raised so much money for the charities supporting the condition that they made huge breakthroughs in the research and treatment of ALS. And I heard, this might have been just an exaggerated myth through the internet grapevine, that it was practically cured, or they've got to make huge leaps forward due to all the money going to it. So I was a little bit surprised to hear, wait, the ALS Foundation is still going. Didn't the Ice Bucket Challenge and the amount of money that was raised sort of basically solve it? But if anyone knows what happened there, if anyone's got 2 minutes to Google, is ALS still a thing? Let me know. But yeah, I know, effects. It's none of ours, or it's Twitch's fault. It really was Twitch's. It's a motor neuron disease. Yeah, I know it's a really severe thing. It probably isn't curable, but hopefully the Ice Bucket Challenge money raised did do a lot for the research. Anyway, off of that bleak thing, but merited a proper explanation. What else has been going on? The rest of the weekend, since Thursday, I've had a quiet one. I got in touch with a couple of friends, including Mr. Redweird, but he and I both are needing to save a little bit of money. And I've been out to London recently, and I just felt like doing my own thing. Had a really good, productive Friday. Firstly, Operation Declutter Phase 2, the biggest phase I keep mentioning like all through spring and so far through summer, in the attic is done. It all looks incredible. I'm really happy with it. It looks how I imagine it in my head. Hey Kitsune, by the way, I saw new cosplay catwalk things there. I just haven't scrolled down to all of them, but thanks so much for putting your new cosplay stuff in there. I look forward to checking that out. It's wonderful to see you back in here again. And Citizen Simmy, how you doing, mate? Welcome. Yeah, so I got that done, and now I'm actually taking care of things in the house, which is phase 3. But that's smaller. That's like individual jobs, like stuff I'm doing in the office, some stuff in the living room, and I can now get on with some things I put on the back burner for a bit too long, like all my company expenses for half the fucking year. I've got like a tax bill to pay in like 2 days, and it's going to be affected a lot by a bunch of stuff. I've got a log go back to February. I put off so much stuff while I was moving and doing this huge declutter with the house, and now I'm sort of like, yeah, I should probably start trying to bring in some more money again, because I like food and shelter and other things like that. Glad you enjoyed it. Point honestly no, Simi, because I just looked at it and thought that's super cool. If you're wondering what Simi's referring to, go into Krayven's Town fan art and see the latest post. Simi made a little medieval map, and although Krayven's Town setting is sort of quasi-frontier sci-fi, sort of Firefly, Fallout, techie, this is a medieval map builder, and it had it as a little map. But what I loved is it didn't try and go into all the detail of each individual part of town. It just had the town and it had the regions around it. The only one I'd ever described is the Badlands, sort of rocky Arizona looking thing that gives way to full desert, which I picture it in my mind, south of Cravenstown, where we go hunting for plated dust vipers and stonecrusher phoenixes. And I said it'd be kind of like a crossroads, and I've always envisaged that dawn and the grassy fields giving way to proper forest, with Dawn Whispers foresty elven kingdom is to the west. And he did this super cool thing. I really like the little volcano island off to there. It was true early sort of noughties, early 2000s game map with here's a crossroads, here's baking desert, here's lush forest, here's coastal thing, and here's like swamp, and it was so crossroadsy. I thought it was great, so thanks for that. I'm gonna incorporate that, maybe like with a obviously refine the ideas in my head, but it was exactly what I wanted. It gave it just a little jumping off point. It was great to see sort of like how you're envisioning of it and working, and it uses a really cool little tool. It's like this sort of medieval game map maker. So if any of you are into your board games, especially stuff like D&D, where you need to create like a whole region if you're going to do a big campaign, Simi put the link up for it as well, and it's a really nice resource for stuff like that. It's good to have you back, Kitsune, and Naked Housewife, oh my god, why did you do that to yourself? Sorry, I probably took too long on there. Do you mean like the huge delay in expenses and all of that? Just, stuff needed to happen. I've just been doing this huge declutter that was like a once in a lifetime thing that I don't want to have to deal with 20 years from now, so that was why. How long is Operation Declutter? It's been 3 phases, and phase 2 is done, but phase 3 is just an ongoing thing I can now do between my regular work and life, so it's a huge milestone. Bigger milestone, as I'm just a little bit of like, I'm trying not to be all like, woo, I've done so much stuff and make anyone else sort of feel bad, but I'm really, really chuffed. I paid off my student loan. Hail Satan and hail Sand Trooper, Satan's envoy, Citizen Sand Trooper, how you doing? That's it. The Simi's tool is called Incarnate. If anyone's interested, look it up. Yeah, if you're wanting to do maps for anything, from like a game concept, just a fantasy idea in your head, settings, if you're trying to do like a fantasy novel, and yeah, D&D campaigns, it's such a great little tool actually. So yeah, all kudos to you, Citizen Simi. Sand Trooper, how you doing? I paid off my student loan. God, that's 18 grand of debt. I don't have anyone. Porn for the smut for the smut. I was gonna say smut for the smut god, spunk for the throne of porn. That's the worst, like, most Twisted Games workshop reference I'll ever make. Yeah. Oh well, cool effects, and you'll know about it. Yeah, I am. Thank you. That was some genuinely legit progress. Yeah. As of this point, for the first time in a very long time, I am basically out of debt. You see, what has two thumbs and no debt? This guy. So that's really, really cool. Thank you. Yeah. God, what was it? And I'm quite lucky. I came out of uni with about, well, I say comparatively lucky. By the way, just by UK standards, most of my European friends, especially Belgian and Dutch, are going to be like jaw on the floor, although probably most of you are already familiar with this. Outside of the US, the UK has some cripplingly high costs to go to university. Like, if you want to go to Belgium, it's like 500 euros a year, and it's all this, that, and the other. Now, UK universities are, on average, overall, the best in the world. You know, we've got to be good at something. We're fucking up in all kinds of other places, but our unis are really great. Our degrees are really worth something, but they are costly. I came out with 16.5 grand in pounds, back when the pound was an expensive currency, on the day, and over the last 10, when did I graduate? 12 years, it's crept up to about £18,000, and I paid off the last 5.5 on Friday, which is probably one of the reasons I stayed in this weekend, because I am feeling as poor as a church mouse whose wife recently left him, taking all the cheese while simultaneously receiving a large tax bill from HMRC. But I could have built the most greatest streaming gaming rig and all set up and like super professional kit, but I thought, you know, maybe pay off that student loan instead. And I did, so I'm broke as shit now, but that feels really good. And thank you, everyone. All kinds of that is awesome. Out there. Oh no, the bad puns begin. You're out of debt for now. It's like we're a 500 year and or 500 semester. Britain made America. Now that's an achievement. Kind of. It doesn't feel like such. You know what? Never mind. Let's not go down that path there. Effects. You almost got me. Thank you, Cherry Round. Thank you, all of you. Thank you so much for the kind words. Yeah, but when I went to uni, it was, hunt time, without that shadow looming over me. Yes, indeed. And next thing is, I've got a couple of things to pay off, which I'll cover briefly. But, oh God, I've lost my track. Exclamation mark hunt in the chat, folks. Exclamation mark hunt. Let's go and deal with some creatures in the Badlands that now have been beautifully rendered by Simi's artistic efforts with Incarnate. Yeah, cost-wise. So for context, I went to uni. I was the last year that got to go before top-up fees were introduced, which took tuition, because it used to be tuition costs in the UK were about £1,100 a year, which wasn't too bad, and bumped them up to £3 grand. And now tuition fees are anything up to £9,000 a year, and in London, and then you take out a student loan to pay your rent and your living costs, because in the UK, in a lot of other places, especially smaller countries, Belgium especially, and maybe the Netherlands as well, it's very common to go to uni, stay in dorms, but you all commute from home. Very few people move out of home to go to university. They go to university or Hogger school or whatever, and they go elsewhere. But in the UK, if you go to uni, it's very much considered very much a moving out thing, and you're expected to rent your own digs and all that. So you take a student loan, and that's for feeding yourself and paying your rent while studying full time. So you can't really earn except taking maybe a weekend job, which is what I did. When I used to work for Games Workshop, and how I got like this huge backlog of figures I've never assembled because of my staff discount. I worked at Games Workshop part-time while I was at uni, to the jealousy of a lot of friends on my course, because my course was computer games, art and design, so we had a disproportionate number of fellow nerds. Anyway, I paid $1,100, and I even got a higher education grant, which was free money because of a low income background. But nowadays you come out of university in the UK with like £50,000 worth of debt. It is absolutely criminal, personally. So yeah, it's nice. I even had a little bit of help paying off some of mine, and I don't know how people do it these days. Oh my word, that is going to be the Stone Crusher. How many did we get? It kicked our ass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, we had exactly 6. That is why. That is why. Right, Darkens. You want to go? You go away. Anyway, so that was really, really good. Bring it. Bring it. Right, who's going to end up victorious? Bump. Bump. Darkens. Right, Darkens, you're back on streak, mate, after a little run through the week where you actually lost a few. He wins way too many duels, my goodness. So, Friday was super productive. Saturday, obviously, retro block party. That wrote off most of my morning, so I got up early to make sure I was prepped and everything was done, and then be there for my warm-up, and then I stayed through my whole slot trying to see if we could log on and I could do my session, which I couldn't. So I was a little bit bummed out. I was not feeling mentally all that great afterwards. Not like down, super down, but I didn't find it in myself to be productive like I was on Friday, and I felt I'd gotten quite a lot of stuff knocked out on Friday, and treated myself to a few beers at my local pub down the road. I actually went over with Krayven, so that was nice. So to try and do something useful, it's up here. My ATST, in fact, you know what, I'll see if I can grab it and bring it down. You guys, I think quite a few of you saw my tweet or tweets. I've had this set for like over a year, and this is a Star Wars AT-ST Walker. Anyway, here it is. Here it is. I am quite proud. It's all come together. It's got a little top-down flap to see the guy, and I think the top opens up as well. You've got a full cockpit inside. How rad is that? This was such a cool kit. I mean, it wasn't the cheapest, but it's actually quite large. I mean, the photos and stuff, you couldn't really get too much sense of scale unless you know the real Sailor model Lego man. But if I put it like next to my head, and I've got quite a long face, you know, it's quite a beefy thing. But check this out, right? You got this little doodad on the back, and then watch the front. If I twist it, it actually fully like rotates, and it's fully articulated. Even the leg joints are stiffer to move, but they are fully articulated. They walk as well. And look at this. He's even got little toes. They've even put a little detail on the little toes, which I think is just wonderful. Anyway, I was delighted by this, and I thought, if I'm gonna procrastinate and not get much done, I'll try and do it productively, and I've wanted to build this set for like a year, so that was a good chunk of my Saturday, well spent, I think. Got it set up as a little diorama up here, pride of place on the shelf. Yeah. So that was that. And plus 200 rep. I collect some Lego myself. That piece is a beauty. Yeah, I've got a few things up here. Is that one in the corner there? That's Jabba's palace. You can't buy that anymore. There were some complaints because it apparently looked a bit too similar in architecture and shape to a mosque, which, to be honest, from Jabba's palace, the original set designs of the film was somewhat sort of East Asian based, and it got discontinued. So that one at the top with the little tower on the side of it, you can't buy anymore. And underneath it is a Rancor pit. They come as separate sets where they can be combined. So that one's like my sort of pride and joy. And off to one corner here, but I'll wait until I actually assemble it. That is the Wookiee catamaran from episode 3. Now, the prequel trilogy are largely not great, but that one has got one of three very rare figures in it, as in actual little Lego men. They are characters whose lightsabers light up by clicking the Lego heads, and they've got some little circuitry or clever stuff in them that goes off. And there's a Luke Skywalker one with a blue lightsaber, there's a Darth Vader one with a red lightsaber, and then there's a non-specific Sith who has a green lightsaber, and he's included with that. I bought it 2 Christmases ago for 130 quid, limited edition, mint in box. You can't get it anywhere else. Those little figurines, just for context, like the Star Wars Jedi with the 3 of them with the light up lightsabers, go for £40 each. So I was like, steal. It was like a local secondhand toy and retro game store that we have here in my hometown, and it's really cool. So I had to rearrange the shelf a little bit, but that was good. I'm pretty happy with that. Neat, happy fox noises. Darkens looks around for the fox noises I'm hearing. So yeah. Oh, and the other thing, I meant to put a trailer for this in Crayflix Lounge, but I've got to recommend this, and then that's basically covers what I've been doing this weekend, because today has just been Sunday. Today just been catching up with a few things, bits and pieces of work. The main thing is expenses. I've been working on my expenses all afternoon because I slept till about midday because I watched The Boys. Now, any of you have Amazon Prime or you watch Twitch and you see that Amazon Prime adverts, you may have seen this show with characters, and it's talking about it's another superhero show, but it's, you know, superheroes aren't good people, and they do you have any idea what they get up to and all that? And it's called The Boys. I don't know if it's based on an original book or a comic, but if you have Amazon Prime, check it out, because finally someone actually did a show that puts superheroes, kind of think roughly as commonplace or with a frequency to X-Men in the population, with tiers of them, of levels of power and what they can do to an extent, but actually in the real world and all the ramifications that has of people who have essentially almost godlike abilities walking around, how corporations use them, how they're represented, how just because they've got good powers and they're not necessarily going to be good people or anything, and not in a way heroes. You had some villains, and not individual powers. They're they really are superhuman in every sense, and all the sort of corporate sponsorships. There's magazines and films about them, but they're all done, they act for real. Anyway, it's firstly, it's very adult. It's half the episodes are 18 rated. It's gory as hell. It's just check that that's not about to cut me out. Good. It's gory as hell. It's very adult. It actually sounds like real life as opposed to sort of Marvel's let's tone everything down. But yeah, it's a new Amazon series. They've just finished season 1. It's called The Boys, and it's great. I watched it and I didn't realise the whole season was done, and I binged it. I started it at 9 p.m. yesterday evening, and then it was 4:30 in the morning, and I'd run out of episodes to watch. I'm like, shit, I should get to bed. So that was class. So yeah, it must be from Legends, because Sith don't usually use green natural crystal, which is usually the red synthetic to mock the Jedi. Yeah, fair. To be honest, this is it's an official branded one, so it's with the canon. But this isn't from Legends. It's just literally the episode 3 Wookiee Catamaran. It might just be a generic Jedi, because there's Luke, Darth, and this one generic Jedi, but his clothing does not look especially Jedi-like. It looks more Sith-like. But I'm not a big follower enough of all the background of Star Wars. I just really like Star Wars Lego. So yeah, all right. That's today's just been expenses, folks. With all that said and done, goodness me, I have gone and rambled for quite a little while, but there's been a lot to cover. Catch me up on your weekends, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, and have you been away? Have you been seeing family? What's new? What is the story, Evening Glory? But we've got I think 10 or 11 submissions to get through, so I will try and we got 3 poems, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Reddit submissions. So yeah, 12. We have a new record. We have an actual new record of submissions from all you awesome folks. So I'm just gonna really soften the music down there a little bit. Let's see. I'm a Star Wars lore master, if you ask me. I love lore in general, and Star Wars got me reading everything about it. Fair enough. Sandra Cray, you worked at Games Workshop shop, right? I did, yes. If so, do you know how I'd go about ordering an item to a specific authorized seller? Oh, do you mean having an item delivered to a you can, yeah, I mean, if you mail order something, that you can still get it delivered to the store in question. You can probably do that online through mail order. Do you want to have it delivered at home or collect it at a specific Games Workshop store? Yeah, you can do it online, you can do it at both. If you're talking about having it delivered to a third-party independent retailer, I don't know, because I last worked there 2004 to 2005, so my knowledge is you know, 14 to 15 years out of date. But yeah, the internet deliveries were a bit newer then than they are now. But you should have a number of options, and what I just suggested will definitely work if you're doing it to a official Games Workshop store, my dude. What are you going to order, Sound Trooper? What are you looking to collect at the moment? Okay, poem number 1. This is by, all 3 of these poems have been submitted by Citizen Effects right there. So we have one by Rudyard Kipling. This is the 60 Seconds. I've forgotten the proper name of this, but it's very, very famous. It's very, very famous. In fact, I'll pause the music right down and put it back up there later on. Okay, right. So, by Rudyard Kipling, he of Jungle Book fame. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, but if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to, broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. And here's the famous bit. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Absolute classic, that Rudyard Kipling. I wish I could remember the official title of that poem, but if you put in Rudyard Kipling, you'll be a man, my son, or 60 seconds, or I think it's the unforgiving minute. It's something along those lines. Absolute classic, absolute classic. I've known that poem since I was a little boy, and I've always loved it. I've always loved it. Oh, another duel. Another duel. And who came out of this one? Knackered Housewife kicking ass. She's far from knackered. A new Forge Father model for the Iron Hands is being released soon. I want to run him in a separate attachment with my Adapters Mechanicus. Iron Hands Mechanicus, so aesthetically pleasing. Oh, nice one. Yeah, that's a really good idea. And lore-wise, very thematically appropriate. Well, by new Forge Father, that would be a new Chapter Master then for the Iron Hands. I think you can just mail all of that and get it delivered to any store you'd want there, Sand Trooper, specifically, or of course any other personal address, and you can do that directly online. Oh, we've got another poem here by G. Tyler. I don't know what the G stands for. I'm sick and tired of hiding these scars. I'm sick and tired of dreaming about being hit by cars. I'm sick and tired of lying. I'm sick and tired of going to bed crying. But most of all, I'm just tired. I'm tired of feeling numb. I'm tired of feeling sick. I'm tired of kids calling me dumb just to get a kick. Stop the stigma. Break the silence. The answer will never be to scare them with violence. Speak up. Speak out. Let them show what mental illness is all about. We fight every day, but try our best to love life anyway. We're the artists, the outcasts and the misfits, the dreamers and the movers, the believers and the doers, not our faulty genetics or traumatizing pasts. Let's create a change that will last. Stop the stigma, break the silence, end the violence. It's a very, very powerful mental health piece there by G. Tyler. And of course, folks, you can read or copy paste or download these from the suggestions forum in the streaming complex in Cravenstown, and please do. That's a really nice one. That was a really powerful one. Yeah, Naked Housewife. Yes, of course, because you are a little newer here. Story Sunday. Story Sunday is a 2-part stream. So part 1 is live reading. If people submit poems, often Reddit, a lot of popular ones from Reddit. It started off as Krayven reads Reddit, and it's expanded to reading whatever. So if you have like a short story or a prologue to a book, short stories, by which I mean real short, like not like a novella, but maybe like a few pages. Poems are very welcome. Articles, like interesting articles regarding nature and science and discovery. I try and steer clear of current affairs or politics and stuff. But yeah, I used to just do narrative games, and enough people complimented my reading and also the sound of my voice and my reading voice, so I decided to do the first part for the last couple of a few months as just live reading community submissions, and then the remainder of the stream goes on to a narrative game which also has a lot of dialogue and a lot of lore, because I love my sort of lore heavy stuff and doing all the dialogue like that. And Naked Housewife, if you want to submit anything, go into the suggestion forum in the streaming complex, because that, and for all of you, just don't forget that is not just for submitting Story Sunday stuff, that is the feedback place. So if you have games you want me to consider or ask if I own or I'll play in future on stream, or ideas for the forum, or things you'd like to see in the stream, improvements I can make, or something you really liked, that is your feedback spot. It's why I try and keep it all in one place so it stays active and it keeps sort of people's eyes knowing that there's stuff going on in there. But also, yeah, for Story Sunday submissions, content submissions, that's where that goes. Awesome, nice one. And that's it. Iron Hands don't have a chapter master. They have 12 Forge Fathers in control of the chapter. I thought there was like a Grandmaster, an overall chapter master, and the Forge Fathers kept the role of sort of company captains. I don't directly run Iron Hands. I run Steel Confessors. Yeah. Mars made their own chapter in secrecy from the Jackass Inquisition. That I didn't know about. I thought the Steel Confessors were a successor chapter to the Iron Hands. Right, poem number 3. Oh, another one from thesilverpen.com, author unknown. Don't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, when you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a fellow turns about when he might have won had he stuck out. Don't give up the pace. Don't give up though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a fair and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup, and he learned too late when night came down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are, it may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit, if when things seem worst that you mustn't quit. It's when things seem worst that you mustn't quit. Generally a pretty good rule when taking part in a task or activity or a thing. However, I would say sometimes realising when you being too bloody minded or something's truly not making you happy, it's okay to change direction, but don't quit on your dreams and your tasks and your bits. But that's another really powerful bit. Give me my money back. Well, all 3 of those poems, Rudyard Kipling, the mental health stigma, and Don't Quit, were submitted by Citizen Effects. So thank you so much for those, dude. It's nice to get some poetry in and to start off the stream with it. Right, we will, well, now is more fitting. I'll put a little bit of our happy background music. Hopefully that's not too deafening. Back on and back up. And we'll have this one from Duncan of Florence. This is from Today I Learned. So we're going to have a bit of educational material. So this is, alright, so it's going to be an article, but the Today I Learned, by the way, Today I Learned is a very popular subreddit. You learn something new every day? What did you learn today? Submit interesting specific facts about something you just found out. So this is up 19 hours ago and nearly 50,000 upvotes. So Today I Learned that the builders of Japan's Nijo Castle created squeaky floors to prevent ninja assassins from sneaking in. The floors were designed so that just the lightest step produced a clearly audible sound, warning guards that danger is approaching and forcing a ninja to abandon his plots for the night. Oh, cool. Right, I've got to read this. And the actual article link that I'm going to is from amusingplanet.com. And, okay, once all the freaking cookies go away. So, a nightingale floor, an ancient Japanese intruder detection system. Now, I'm not sure if I went to Nijo Castle. It looks very familiar. I think oh no, I went to the White Heron Castle. It was somewhere else. There's only 12 original castles left in Japan of the style. Hey Jimbo, how you doing? How you doing? Oh, actually, I get to do. I've tweaked things slightly. I was so hoping you'd come by because I love giving a level select shout out to Jimbo. And folks, you should check him out. And also, to make them a little bit clearer, look at those nice little beams, because the shout-outs can easily be lost in the body of text, and now they're not so easily lost. Shamelessly taken from my friend Indeedy, who's a great streamer as well. So, townspeople, Jimbo is an awesome streamer, just in his own right. He's really friendly, super awesome. If you like the fact that we have a really positive and welcoming community here, so is his, and he is super, super nice. He's also very, very mild-mannered and pleasant. I know I will let slip the occasional swear, maybe 2 per stream tops, which I know will all agree is factual and accurate, that I very, very rarely sort of say a naughty word. And Jimbo's even more clean cut than me. I mean, but I'm not actually being sarcastic. He's literally very family friendly streamer, and all his production values are great. He has lots of little comedy bits as well, like Monty Python foot stamps. His sound quality is excellent, and whatever he plays, he makes it entertaining. He's a member of the Level Select community that I'm in as well. He's also a member of Plant Army, which are a collection of extremely good. All the 3 streamers I directly know, and they're all fantastic, and I thoroughly encourage you to go and check him out. I require those emotes, Jimbo. Yeah, there are. Jimbo's got some good emotes as well. Nerd Alert's one of yours, isn't it, Jimbo? Alright, so Nightingale Floor, an ancient Japanese intruder detection system. Squeaky floors are annoying, which is why when you search for squeaky floors in Google, you get hundreds of articles offering you tips and advice on how to make your floors squeak less. But in ancient Japanese societies, especially among royal families, squeaky floors were not hated but desired, because a floor that screeched and groaned with every step was an effective anti-burglar alarm system. Some Japanese castles built during the Edo period had these kinds of flooring in the hallways. They are known as, I'll try and get this right, as uguisu bari, where uguisu refers to the Japanese bush warbler or the Japanese nightingale, a very shy bird that prefers to stay hidden among the foliage, but its distinctive breeding call can be heard throughout much of Japan from the start of spring. It is said that these especially designed creaking floors sound much like the bush warbler singing. In English, they are known as nightingale floors. Nightingale floors were popular during the Edo period, a period stretching from the early 17th century to the mid-19th century, where Japan was under the rule of the Tokugawa shogunate. So they had an emperor still, but he was a puppet, and the shoguns were the real power. The Edo period was considerably peaceful, with fewer wars and rivalry, but the threat from the shogun's subordinate feudal lords and other enemies was always there. When Tokugawa Ieyasu, I'm remembering some of these names when I was in Japan and like checking out all their armor and like where they were and who they were. When Tokugawa Ieyasu, the founder of the Tokugawa shogunate, built the Nijo Castle in Kyoto, I did go there. I did go to the Nijo Castle as his residence. He ordered his carpenters to install nightingale floors in its hallways so that any assassin trying to sneak into the castle will immediately alert his guards. While dry boards naturally creak under pressure, nightingale floors have extra metal clamps located between the beams that support the floorboards of each corridor. Each clamp has 2 spike holes through which an iron spike goes through. When someone walks over the boards, the clamp moves up and down, causing the spike to rub against the clamp, producing a shrilling noise. That's sort of really clever. So you got like these floorboards, and then this gap in it, and almost kind of like you might imagine the pegs in a lock going down, and then gravity, and there's a little space, and it just sort of creates this warbling effect. It's really clever. Because it was impossible to walk across these hallways without making their presence known, guards and sentries developed a special rhythm that they would use when walking over the board so that other guards know it's one of them. Oh, kind of like password footsteps. That's wicked. If the guards heard the floors singing a different tune, they knew they had an uninvited guest and that it was time to sound the alarm. The two best places to see and experience Nightingale floors are the Nijo Castle in Kyoto and Chion Inn, a temple where the Tokugawa family used to stay. Hang on, there's an actual video here. I'll just pause the music and just see if the sound will come up okay. That's what the floors sound like to walk across. That's mental. Sentry. God will not duel this time. That sounds really horrible probably, but that's how much noise those floors make. Holy crap. That is really cool. Let's see. Sand Troopers challenge God to a glorious gladiatorial combat. Do it, God, McPussy. God has declined. God has declined to duel. That is so cool. There you go, effects. Oh wow, the design of that is absolutely crazy. Well, that was super cool. All right, Japanese castle floors in the Shogunate period designed to squeak so that intruders like ninjas couldn't be spotted. Thank you so much for that one, Duncan. All right, See You Diane has submitted from Malicious Compliance. And those of you unfamiliar, the subreddit of Malicious Compliance is people conforming to the letter but not the spirit of a request. So, posted a day ago, 31,000 upvotes. It's not too long. This happened a few years ago. I was working at a large national chain restaurant as a manager. I was asked to temporarily reassign to a location in the city about an hour away and accepted. And they put me up in a hotel, the whole 9 yards. And this is from user Captain P42. The first week I was there, I discovered that the GM had screwed up and not ordered any change, small bills, rolls of coins, etc., for the safe, and that the local branch of our bank would be closing in the next hour. I also happened to have a personal account at the same bank and had in the past gone and gotten change from the branch back home. Since time was tight, I quickly looked up the address of the bank, grabbed $800 and 2 seconds, make music volumes okay, cool. I quickly looked up the address of the bank, grabbed $800 and got in my car. I get to the bank, wait in line and ask them to make change. $400 in $5 bills, $300 in $1 bills and $100 in assorted rolled coins. The teller tells me that the bank doesn't make change. Me, thinking it was because they didn't know me, informed her that our restaurant had an account she could look up. She then told me, no, we don't make change at all. The thought going through my brain was, WTF, you are a bank. I tried explaining the situation but was quickly shot down. I left, went back to my car, then had an idea. I went back inside the bank with my personal checkbook, got to the front of the line, and luckily, the same teller. Before she could even greet me, I held out my checkbook and told her I would like to close this account since this bank is no longer customer service oriented. She kind of rolled her eyes but went about my request. Then she asked how I wanted my cash back, an automatic response, I'm sure, and one I was counting on. I said $400 in fives, $300 in ones, $70 in rolled quarters, $25 in rolled dimes, $4 in rolled nickels, and $1 in rolled pennies. The rest can be on a cashier's check. No reason for her to deny it, so I got my change. And the following Monday I returned, closed out the 2 other accounts I had there and opened accounts at a different bank where I've been banking ever since. That was, I have to admit, not so much a way around it, because he had to sort of close down his whole bank, but that is certainly, he did a good job for his, a good thing for his job there. And what the hell, like, they don't make change. They had it right there. Well, that was all right. I will make myself some oatmeal, eat some fruit. That sounds very healthy effects. Good on it. Good fight, mate. Imagine trying to sleep. No peace in that castle. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it'd be a nightmare. Would Darkest Dungeon be considered a narrative game? It depends how you define narrative, Sand Trooper. I would say in the broadest sense, yes, because you have a narrator and he's doing all this stuff and he's telling a story. You have journal pages you can collect. You have like an ongoing plot and a story, but I would say it has a narrative and a narrator, but it's not it's not really a lore and story driven game. It has a basic story, but it's not like a story given game the same way something like Baldur's Gate or Icewind Dale or Pillars of Eternity or Divinity Original Sin, get big RPGs with huge, or like even Skyrim to an extent, or like stuff like that, because they got all the books of lore you can read. But when I say narrative game, I really think of your classic RPGs with dialogue panels and tons of stuff to read. So the next lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think the next 7. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the next 7 on Reddit are from Darkens, bless him. I've never had a bank that refused to make change. Yeah, me neither. You should get some streamers you'd like to work with and do an online D&D campaign. Possibly. I think it would be rather niche. I don't know. It's crossed my mind, Sandru, but I don't know if that's really up my street. When I do D&D, I like to do that for me in real life with people. Okay, so this is from IDontWorkHereLady. Tales from retail. It involves stories about folks that go into other businesses, have irate customers mistake them for employees. So we've got, oh wow, this is quite a big one, an XXL from user Tanzanite. I wonder if that's Traz. Really, I don't work here. Actually, Tanzania is probably Tanzanite from Tanzania. It's Tanzanite 20. Really, I don't work here anymore. Posted 7 hours ago, 1,700 upvotes. So about 12 years ago, I worked for a fast food company that had a division just for telephone orders. I was a desk jockey who had to listen to some of the biggest creeps you can imagine and some of the sweetest people as well. Biggest drawback was having to work until 2 a.m. 2 shifts out of 5, where the scheduler was a total power mad knob. Right, that's definitely a Brit if he's using the phrase power mad knob. If she didn't like you, your 2 a.m. closes were scheduled on your second and fourth shifts with 9 a.m. start after each. Otherwise, you were scheduled at 11 a.m. 9 a.m. starts meant you cleaned the lunchroom and dumped everyone's garbage from their desks. Not a big deal, but finish at 2 a.m., takes bus home, get some sleep, take bus back to start at 9 a.m. It was pretty rough for some people. I was only getting 4 hours sleep on those turnaround days. Anyway, 7 or 8 months in and I find another job. I give verbal notice to my immediate supervisor. I give written notice to the office manager. In my written notice, I detail my reasons why I was leaving. First, the abuse from the scheduler. Since our office was 7 days a week and there was a staff of 80 order takers, there was no reason to mess with people like Chantel did. I ended the letter explaining that I start the new job on X date and that Y date is my final date with the employer, with a 5-day gap so I can have a small vacation. And oh god, I overheated this oatmeal. Shit. Oh, do you mean a command for all commands? Tell you what, Sand Trooper, go into the suggestion forum and can you do a meta command, like to give you all commands? Yeah, because the help command is our mental health help. What's that random quote command? If you want a quote, it's just exclamation mark quote space add and then space quotation marks. Put the quote close quotation marks. But yeah, I can but that's not one specific to the channel. That's specific to Streamlabs chatbot. So yeah, I wouldn't put that. But like I can put a meta command that's got all the custom commands in it for you. You really want porridge? I have porridge every morning, knackered housewife. Anyway, sorry, back to the story. Last day came, office manager asked me into her office for my exit interview. Things go well. She clarified I have ended with them 5 days before I start a new job. I agree, explain I'm taking a mini vacation before my new job starts. I hand in my swipe card, my work ID and my key. I get her to sign a receipt that I return them in and she accepted them. 2 days later I get a call from shift supervisor. Hi, it's 12 noon. You haven't called in, so where are you? I'm confused by this call. I explained I quit. My last day was 2 days ago. I gave notice over 2 weeks ago to her and management. She acknowledges our conversation but says she thought I was thinking of quitting, not actually quitting. I tell her to talk to Mrs. Manager. Now, I've been burned at other crap jobs before, so when I gave my written notice, I made the manager sign and date a receipt that she received a letter, and again at the exit interview, she signed and dated a receipt that I turned in everything. Smart. Supervisor calls me back, says manager has no memory of this and no letter. I'm on the schedule and if I don't come in I am fired. Now this employer has a habit of doing this to people. Basically if they can't work you as their slave, they make sure you are not eligible to apply for benefits. My mum used to date a lawyer, so I go see him. Lay it out for him, including my signed receipts, and ask for advice as I'm worried they are going to mess up my new job. Apparently he's already heard about this employer through the grapevine. He says he'll take care of it. I go home and find 3 messages from that manager telling me I'm a liar, I have never given notice, I still have my card and key, etc. I call the lawyer, play it all for him. He sends someone over to record the messages. Supervisor calls 2 days later at 9 AM asking if I'm coming in for the shift. Nope, I don't work here. I quit, remember? 3 hours later, supervisor calls again. She apologises for bothering me when I no longer work there. Apparently the lawyer went himself with a sheriff's deputy to deliver the letter. The interview started with showing her the receipts that she signed for and accepted my letter of resignation and my card and keys, etc. She agreed that she signed these. She went through her desk and produced the card, keys, etc. These were supposed to be turned into the admin staff. Deputy tells her she's going to arrest her for theft. Lawyer then plays the voicemail recordings. Lawyer is threatening to charge her with harassment. Owner showed up for a site visit that morning and came to see why there was a sheriff's vehicle out front. Lawyer explains everything, not just my case. Turns out it to the lawyer 2 days ago as he was pulling everything he could find about this office and this manager. Owner had no idea it was this big. Places like this have a high turnover anyway, so he never thought there was anything weird about the seemingly revolving door. I finished the call with the supervisor. Okay, so we agreed. I don't work there, right? And that I quit. And edit, to my knowledge, that office manager was canned. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Or I could start some overnight oats. How does overnight... Oh, overnight oats is where you pour milk in and you or something, you soak them all night, don't you? Do they actually come up sort of different? Well, always loved that. That could almost be ProRevenge. Almost be ProRevenge, but that is really I don't work here, lady. Oh, and here's another one from I Don't Work Here Lady. 18 hours ago by user Fike Khan. 3,100 upvotes. And I don't know how else to explain to you I've quit. Alright, this one's in a sort of got a bit of a narrative component, like a little playwritten thing. In my second year of university, I got a job at a local interior design studio that specialised in custom-made closets. It was also a retail boutique that sold IKEA stuff, but this was expensive and bourgeois and obviously way nicer quality. Basically, I was pushing my resume everywhere and they were the first ones to call back about being a sales associate with them. So it was me, an interior designer, and the owner, who was also an interior designer. It's also worth mentioning that I was getting an arts degree and have zero background or experience in design or interior decorating. So the cast is me and my psycho boss. So I start working there. The pay is great and they aren't open late. About 3 months, after about 3 months, I burn out physically. The job was way above basic retail associate position. I was my boss's personal assistant. It was at the point where I was doing design work and meeting with clients regularly. I dealt with all the in-store selling plus personal assistance for her. I worked 8-hour shifts 6 days a week while being a full-time student. I also, for some people, and obviously for some people it's necessarily doable, but not what I was looking for, because yes, doing 8-hour shifts as a full-time job while being a full-time student, that's insane. Absolutely. Yo, Citizen Nubs, how you doing? Citizen Nubs is back in town. Citizen Nubs is back. You will be voltage calmed by the enforcers for your repeated referring to yourself as mayor. And once you finish drooling and can talk again, you can say hello. Citizen, yes, of course, Citizen Nubs, because you have a flag. If you don't have a flag, but you're a regular here, a follower, you are a resident. If you have a flag, you are a citizen. And there's only one mayor. How you doing, Nubs? Good to see you, my dude. Good to see you. Welcome on in. Let's see. So I worked 8-hour shifts 6 days a week while being a full-time student, and obviously for some people it's necessary, doable, not what I was looking for. I wasn't a designer or a personal assistant. I wanted casual hours at a retail gig. Whatever though, I resigned. I handed my resignation letter, got my last paycheck, got taken off the schedule. Was I done? Right? Wrong. The following is the day following my last shift. Phone call from former boss. My boss. Hi. I just got into the store. Why aren't you here? Me. Yesterday was my last shift, remember? Boss. Well, I thought you would still be here this morning. Why haven't you scheduled the XYZ consultations or done ABC or unpacked the last shipment of stock? Me. I only did those things when I was working for you. Boss. Not comprehending. Okay. Well, could you please schedule those consultations and drop off some samples to their locations? If you could also do some measurements while you're there. Me. I literally handed you my resignation and told you why I was quitting. Boss. I know, but you still need to do these things for me until we find a replacement. Me. What? Me? I'm off the payroll. I do not work for you, and you were interviewing people yesterday while I was working to replace me. Boss. This is really unprofessional. You can't get away with this kind of behavior in this business. Me? I explained to you why I quit. I'm not at all qualified to do the job you're tasked me with. I'm not looking for this heavier workload right now. Again, I explained to you. Moreover, I don't want to work in this business. Boss, this is unacceptable. The girl we hired won't be able to be trained for a while. Until she can take over, you are obligated to continue to help me. At this point, I just hung up. She called multiple times and I just ignored. She kept emailing me and I emailed back outlining step by step why I was no longer her employee and was not obligated to continue working. She wasn't having it, so I ended up blocking her email number. She even called my parents' house a few times where I was living until we blocked her. And edit, just to FYI, this is in Canada. I gave a 2 weeks notice. My last shift was a little over 2 weeks after I informed her I was quitting. What a nutcase. You got to be actually insane about that. I'm more an asylum seeker. Oh, Nubs. Well, this is a place of asylum. If you are seeking asylum, you are absolutely here. Welcome on in, and we certainly won't be keeping you in cages. You will be well fed. Just don't ask what the meat is made of. Can I be an enforcer of the peace? You want to? Yeah, sure, Sand Trooper. You're an enforcer now. See, it's no fun when someone asks to be beaten. Nub's just guaranteed that he's the one person Sand Trooper will never punish because he wants it. Can I steal jobs too? You can have them. You can have them. We have jobs available. We don't even have to steal them, Nubs. Oh my goodness. Oh my wow. We've got like 2 more from I Don't Work Here Lady. So 2. Let's see if I did that one. There was Malicious Compliance. Those 2. So 2 more. From I Don't Work Here Lady. Wow, I Don't Work Here Lady's been popular this week. So, not my from user Lintra888. Not my store, not my problem. Oh goodness, it's a fairly meaty one. For the record, I do work for Walmart and did at the time of the story. Oh god, it's going to be an almost Humans of Walmart scenario. My oldest niece goes to college just a couple hours drive from my home. Every so often I'd make the drive out on my day off to visit with her and make sure she had everything she needed. Her mum covered the rent on her apartment, she walked most everywhere, and most stores she needed were within walking distance, except the local Walmart. So during a visit, she thought of a few things she needed from the store. No big deal, we head over there. We wander around, gather the supplies she needed, a few school supplies, a movie that just released, some fabric for her latest cosplay idea. We were looking over the game case, commenting on some of the recent releases and mulling a purchase. Enter customer. Customer, Excuse me, I need a game out of here. Would you unlock it for me? Me. Sorry, I don't work here, but I see the guy with the keys right over there. It's my day off. I'm not in anything that could remotely be construed as dress code for Walmart, much less a name tag. Customer. No, I recognize you. I know you work here. Please stop being another lazy freak and get me that game. Me. Mom, I'm sorry, I don't work here. I can't open any case. Customer. Oh. Shut up. Look, I get it. You're lazy. You're flirting with a little twit there. You think you're going to get in her pants. You work here. It's your job to provide customer services. Me. Mum, this is my niece. She attends college here. I don't even live in this town. Please leave customer. What's your manager's name? I'm going to file a complaint. At this point, I realise I can have a little fun with this, especially as my manager at the time has a love of snarky behaviour and a no-nonsense attitude when it comes to customers like this. I give her my manager's name and... Oh, goodness me, what's going on? Things! Oh, bless him! Why is it bringing up September? Oh, nubs! Well, September's not on. Streamlabs has got a serious issue with the continuation, the right message for the continuation alerts. But Nubs, welcome back to the ranks of the citizenry. Oh, sorry. You no. The alert was I was under the impression that you were continuing, but what? What the hell?
First started creating music.
Can I steal jobs? Good, I'll run for mayor. Oh yeah, sorry, we have jobs. That's not one of them. Mayor isn't a job. Mayor is a role for life. Let's see. Secrecy police, we're about to volunteer you for death nubs. Can't wait. I'd like to apply for Cravenstown Army and Defence position. Sure, granted effect. Cravenstown Militia. Listen, I like masochism as much as the next sex crazed maniac, but no. Did I get a gift?
The main thing that I do is...
You were continuing it, but you didn't have to... Well, yay! That's fantastic. Right, well, folks, welcome. Well, thank you for continuing, Nubs. I don't know how you ended up managing to do that for free, but yay. Enjoy the continued... Yeah. You probably had a pending gift thing. All right, well, welcome back to the ranks of the citizenry. You are not just legit, you are Cravenstown legit. Enjoy the continued use of the legit emotes. Hit that legit as you see fit. Huh. Right. Come on, folks, let's get some legits in there. We've had 2 alerts and not a single legit has gone off. If you have a flag by your name, you know these responsibilities. Oh, Kitsune! Right, to both Nubs and Kitsune, welcome back to the ranks of the citizenry. You are not just legit, you are Cravenstown legit. Enjoy the legit emotes, more to come soon, especially legit itself, the most combat game slang on the entire internet, and the only place that you will get an emote that actually says it. And use that legit as you see fit. Wave your Cravenstown town flags loud and proud every time you chat. And I must get a bronze one out for you, Kitsune, because you're already on a bronzy. You'll both be able to enter the Citizens giveaway, which is in fact coming up this week. The first stream of let me just check the dates to make sure I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, probably Thursday stream will be the giveaway. Thursday stream at 8 PM. Just make sure you're present, whether it's gifted or of your own volition. ! Giveaway. The stream will start at 7. The giveaway will open at 8, and that's for all of you. I'll announce that in good time in Cravenstown as well. Next, you'll have or regain your access to Citizens Towers in Cravenstown itself, provided your Twitch and your Discord are integrated, which I know in both your cases they are. And last but by no means least, my undying appreciation and gratitude. It's you folks that allow me to keep doing this and eventually hopefully make it a full-time thing, so thank you very much indeed. Look at all that lovely legitness. Excellent. My goodness, marvelous. Okie dokie. Right then, back to the story. Thank you. Hey, it's Citizen Mike coming in there, in amongst all the celebrations. Things are good. It is part 1. It is the story component. I did the longer warm up, and we're just going through our submissions, and then on to part 2 with Pillars of Eternity 2. Mike, how you doing? How's your weekend been, my dude? Giveaway and the darkest stream. I'll be sure to bring my lotion and tissues. My goodness, Sandtrooper, thank you for that graphic detail. And yes, you will need that. What is happening? Dancing is happening. Right, so at this point, I realise I can have a little fun with this. So this is this customer, again, who thinks this person works there and is being a dick about it. Especially as my manager at the time has a love of snarky behaviour and a no-nonsense attitude when it comes to customers like this. I give her my manager's name and cell number, knowing he was also off that day. He listens to the complaint, then asks which store she's in, because that doesn't sound like the kind of person he wants working under him. She's confused, but gives the college town name. I hear him laugh over the phone. Loudly, then he tells her in no uncertain terms that I don't work at that store and to leave me alone. He then hangs up before she can get a word in edgewise. Customer. Oh, very funny. Getting some friend of yours to cover for you. Now get me that game. At this point, the actual associate comes up and asks which game. She angrily points at it. He unlocks the case and gets a copy out. Customer. At least someone around here can do their damn job. You need to tell your co-worker to stop thinking with his dick. Local associate. Mum, he's another customer. He doesn't work here, and please don't use that sort of language in the store. Customer. Another cover story. Fuck. Local associate. Mum, please refrain from swearing in the store. There are children nearby. Customer. Fuck you and your whole fucking store and your fucking horny ass fucks who won't do their fucking jobs. Fuck your fucking shit. I'm going to GameStop. This attracts the attention, and that's all in italic caps. This attracts the attention of the store manager, who comes over to see what the commotion is. Store manager. After listening to a profanity-laden rant about the poor customer service. Mum, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're harassing other customers, pointing at me and my niece, belittling my staff, pointing at the actual electronics guy, and your language is not appreciated in Walmart. The exit is this way. If you do not want to leave your own accord, I can have the police escort you out. It finally sinks in that I was telling the truth all along. Colour drained from her face as she slowly walked away, abandoning the cartload of merchandise she'd already selected. I noticed her again on our way out. She was just staring blankly into her steering wheel. Oh dear. Oh me, oh my goodness. That was a proper one. Let's see, and then we've got... Oh, I swear I've missed one out here. Oh, okay. And then we've got the final one from... no, I hadn't missed any out. I Don't Work Here Lady. Also from Lentra888. An update. Oh my word, it's a follow-up. So that story I just read was like 10 years previously. What's a diamond? That's a VIP tag, Sand Trooper, because you've been here a long time and you come back on the regular a lot. That's my one way that I can sort of reward the real long-term regular people. And let's see. Weekend has been good. Spent some time with the family. Ate too much food. Playing some Dishonored. Oh, nice. Nice. The next one is linked to this one. Yeah, for fuck's sake, pretty much Naked Housewife. So yeah, these are both from Darkens, and so that story I just read, this next one has been posted by the same user called Lentra888. Update: the Karen. I just feel so bad for like nice Karens that Karen has become an internet byword for every bitchy I want to see your manager person ever. So some time ago I posted that gem that we just read from a time I was visiting my niece. I just talked to her today and she had a surprise for me, as in the niece. She ran into that exact Karen and recognised her and apologised. My niece, who's still in college, so 10 years later, working on her doctorate, also runs weekly D&D games at the local game shop to help new players into role-playing. A pair of twin boys, she tells me they're 8, have been regular since she started, and she's enjoyed having them at her table. Most of the time they come in with their dad, a Magic the Gathering player, and he watches them from across the room while he plays and hangs out with some of his friends. The owner knows him and the boys well, and something happened that he couldn't stick around and left the boys in my niece's and owner's care for the duration of the session. He tries to keep it to 2 hours because kids. At the end of the session, one of the boys looks out the door and calls to his brother that their mum was there to get them. She came in and called the boys, then stopped short. My niece said she wasn't sure how the Karen recognised her, and that she had almost forgotten the incident until then and had to be jogged to remember her. But their mum approached her and introduced herself. Ironically, her name turned out to actually be Karen. Then had the boys go get drinks from the shop owner. Turns out that we had encountered her, so in that previous story where she blew up, on the worst day of her life. She had found out her husband was cheating on her and was preparing to drop divorce papers on her. She had lost her job due to cutbacks, and seeing my niece, who apparently looked a lot like her husband's mistress, just caused something to snap. Oh, she had wanted to get something for her kid to soften the blow of the divorce and the changes about to happen, and ended up going off the deep end. In the time since, she turned herself around and found a new man in her life and had the twins with him, plus gained full custody of her child with the first husband, and had found a new career for herself. She said that they stuck in the back of her mind as the person she least wanted to be again, and wanted to live every day being better than that. She never expected to see either of us again. Likely she will never see me again, as I don't have an opportunity to go out there like I used to, but always wanted to apologise for the way she acted. So keep your heart, moral of the story from the user, keep your hearts open, everyone. Change is indeed possible for some of these Karens. Well, that's rather lovely. Like, it's good to have a good old snarky story about someone like because becoming awful, but that kind of the reason she was staring at just at her steering wheel forever, like at the end of the day, that puts it in context. She didn't just storm off in a bad mood. She was just obviously sat there catatonic on the worst day of her life. That's really sweet. That's incredibly heartwarming. Oh, goodness. That's nice. Thank you for doing a double story. Love a good double story. A story with a separate follow-up. That's great. All right, we've got 3 more. So, malicious compliance. And this is, again, people conform me to letter, not the spirit of the request. This is a very short one. This is called I Don't Want to Pay for the Mai Tais. So, and this is from user Ducky McSwag. What a great name. So recently I started working at a bar and a few people came in and ordered 2 Mai Tais. The girl who usually makes cocktails was sick. So, no, I'll just scroll this up. The girl who usually makes the cocktails was sick, so I had to try and make them myself, just following instructions off the cocktail card we had. It wasn't surprising that they didn't turn out quite as they should have, and the people returned them to me saying they don't want to drink them. No problem there, as I already printed the bill that included the cocktails. I just gave the whole table the next round of beers that they ordered on the house, which were slightly more expensive than the cocktails. Fair enough. I thought the story was going in the direction that he still billed them for making them badly, but no, he put the next round on the house for like more than the original sum of money. As they were leaving and wanted to pay, they saw the Mai Tais on the bill, and the man who was paying told me that he won't pay for that. I tried to explain to them that it isn't advisable for the staff to cancel bills that have already been printed, so I didn't charge them for the 5 beers they had later, but he insisted that he won't pay for the cocktails. So I got back to the register, cancelled the cocktail bill, printed out a bill for 5 beers and got back to their table. The man got confused when he saw the price is higher now, as if I didn't explain it to him 2 minutes ago, but after a bit of mumbling in his beard, he finally paid for the bill he wanted to get. Ha! Good. Good. Well, I turned around. All right, he was trying his best to make the cocktails work. Didn't. He did a next more expensive round cheaper, and the guy was being a bit of a... It sounds like a bit of a misunderstanding, really, but nice little bit of malicious compliance. It is nice to find a good one. Sand Trooper. Oh, man, he's still going after God. Don't know. I'd be amazed if you'll certainly change my personal beliefs if God just rocks up into the stream and challenges me. Right, one of you, someone's going to clearly go off and make an account just called God. I bet that hasn't been taken. I bet there isn't an account on Twitch called God. Just like, imagine that, just /God. Twitch.tv/God. So this is also from Malicious Compliant. From user what the fuck Mac or WTF Mac, germaphobe kid gets fucked over for half a year on his own rules. All the way back in 5th grade, I was in a class with mostly nice people. Mostly. This one character, whom I will call K, bet that stands for Karen, had been tormenting me since 1st grade. This ranged from calling me names, bullying me physically and berating me. Back then, it was a big deal for a young child like me. Looking back, he was the quintessential entitled parents, EK, and his insults meant nothing, but I digress. One eventful day, he started calling me a virus or a plague. He said we had to keep a 30 centimetre, yes, he was this precise, distance away from, said we had to keep a 1 foot distance away from him at all times. I was a clever child, so I interpreted this as an opportunity according to his wording. Every day from then on, I had a tool to keep him away from me and to get into trouble. Being the dimwit he was, he prioritised getting away from me more than anything, so I sat next to him every chance I got. This led to such things as disorderly conduct in class by being noisy and overreacting, leading to timeouts. Seeing him out of recess was a relief for everyone. On the off days he wasn't tormented into trouble by yours truly, I used him as line fodder. Lunch lines were often long, and a lunch rush of 200 kids wasn't something you wanted to face. See, this kid was the type to claim his entitlement to a front spot. Every time this kid had a nice spot, I used my virus touch to lure him out 30 centimetres into whatever direction, then got lunch early. Oh, did I mention I forced him to move by saying it's according to the rules? The dimwit never specified which one of us had to move, so hey, I'm not in the wrong. This went on for half a year when the kid was forced to move schools due to a separate incident. On the last day, I'd received a personal apology from him and his rich, entitled parents. Needless to say, that put a smile on my face and my life was better without him. Edit 1. This kid wasn't a germaphobe. He acted out of fear after he started calling me virus. Fake fear, like the cheese touch from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, like pretending to be afraid. But and edit 2, I guess I wasn't clear about this the first time, but he had no qualms of being around me prior to being called a virus. He even had the balls to physically bully me. See the backstory, which involved physical contact to be obviously less than 30 centimeters apart. Additionally, the 30 centimeter rule was enacted the moment I was being called virus. So using some simple logic, fair enough. I don't know. Basically, it seems like one kid was bullying and then ended up being turned around, and the guy who wrote the story kind of bullied him back. Either or. That I don't feel like there's any good person comes out of that one. Oh, good. We got some ProRevenge. I don't think they'd allow that name. Oh, that's a fair point, Darkens. That's a fair point. Yeah. That's very, very, very true. I imagine that's one of the ones that's ruled out. Okay, so our last submission for this week. My goodness, we've had a solid amount. We've had a very solid amount this week. So again, this is another one from Darkens. This is in ProRevenge. So have a story of you or someone you know getting back at someone with ProRevenge after being wronged. That's what this subreddit's all about. And this is from user General Hello There. Hello there, General Hello There. Man messes with... It's only 4 hours old, but it's already got 1,000 upvotes. Man messes with service dog, gets knocked out, arrested, and loses apartment. So this is going to require some backstory. My girlfriend is currently 23 years old, and we met back in undergrad. She would get severe migraines and had heart palpitations, among other problems like EDS. She left the school for medical reasons, and in doing so left me. Fast forward 4 years, and I've just enrolled in my graduate school in another state, and by dumb luck, I found out my girlfriend was now attending a college just 45 minutes away to continue her undergraduate degree. We met up, and to my surprise, she now had a 2-year-old or so Labrador with her that had a large leather harness around him saying, "Do not pet." Turns out in the years we had been apart, she had worsening symptoms that would leave her bedridden or hospitalised if things got out of hand. The problem with disabilities is that my girlfriend appears to be perfectly normal and was constantly asked if she was training the dog. I keep using past tense because the dog was retired about 6 months later because he started having seizures. What are the odds? That's rather sad. However, she was reliant on the dog to alert her to her conditions and keep her healthy enough to go back to school. That's true, yeah. Sometimes they discover dog sense of smell can pick up on all kinds of ailments and stuff, which is amazing. So one day I drove to my girlfriend's apartment, which is this large and luxurious apartment complex right next to campus that is almost reminiscent of a luxury hotel. Very nice. I asked my girlfriend if she would be good enough to walk around campus with the dog, well enough to walk around campus with the dog, and she says yes. We walked about 4 miles on a nature path along the campus, stopping occasionally. When we got back, she was tired and just wanted to lay down on her bed for a while. Unfortunately, this is when things turned south. The entrance to her apartment consisted of a double door with an unlocked door to the outside and a locked door to the inside with a keycard scanner in the room. While my girlfriend fumbles around for her keycard to let us in, the arsehole makes his appearance. Let's just call him Arsehole. Arsehole is walking with a small mixed breed dog about the size of a chihuahua on a long leash. Arsehole saw us standing in the double door area, which was only about a 6 foot by 6 foot space, and decided to try and squeeze in with his dog. Now, for those of you who don't know, service dogs are the gold standard for well-trained and well-behaved animals. Arsehole's dog, let's call it Little Shit, was not. Arsehole enters behind us from outside, and his dog starts immediately jumping around and barking at the service dog. I put my leg up to guard the service dog as Little Shit jumps towards him. This is where Arsehole makes his mistake. Arsehole apparently didn't see the giant leather harness on the service dog and just assumed it was some untrained dog. I was unsure as to whether I should post this in here or in Entitled Parents, because in a true Entitled Parents fashion, Arsehole lets his little shit run wild and jump around our dog while blaming us for our dog, who was standing still at my girlfriend's side, blaming us for our dog behaving badly and attacking his dog. We can't reach the keypad now because Arsehole and his little shit were blocking it, so we're stuck in this tight space with them. This goes on for some time, and Arsehole gets more and more aggressive as I keep blocking his little shit's lunges with my legs. I've grown tired of this and pushed the little shit backwards towards Arsehole with my leg along the ground. Before I can say anything like "control your goddamn dog," Arsehole kicks the service dog. I don't know why. I don't know what special kind of stupid you would have to be to do that, but it did not end well for him. Begin the Revenge, Part 1. As soon as Arsehole kicks the service dog, I lose my shit. Yeah, I would too. I grabbed him and dragged him, and by his extension, the little shit, out of the room and threw him into the street. Arsehole tried to fight back and landed a couple of hits on my side, so I punched him in the face and he dropped. Arsehole's dog just sits there and barks constantly through the rest of this. I went inside the building and told security that the man I just threw in the street had assaulted me and my girlfriend's service dog, and I needed to call the police. Police arrived and both I and Arsehole were detained. However, after I explained my story and deferred the officers to the security footage that should have been recorded by the entry camera, I was released. Excuse me. Begin phase 2. My girlfriend told officers that she wanted to press charges. However, in our state, attacking a service dog can only land you a $500 fine, which is absolute garbage. It bloody well is as well. When we learned that, I tossed my hat in the ring and pressed charges for assault. We ended up getting the guy some jail time down the road, which is well deserved. Luckily, the service dog was okay and still able to work through after all this, although the seizure 6 months later are a bit sad. Begin phase 3. After all this happened, we were approached by someone from the front desk. After reviewing the security footage, the administration had determined they should give Arsehole the boot. I bought my girlfriend some ice cream to make it up to her for all the trouble I had caused. Everything after that was okay. Arsehole and his little shit were never heard from again. Very nice. Oh, decadency. I see you coming in there. Hey, Karen, I'm in Chicago. Yeah, honestly, mate, you said before I didn't expect to see you because you were on a holiday. How's Chicago? Thanks, you fight well and honourably. I would have smashed his head in with his own dog. Yeah, Nubs, very, very much so. Very understandable. All right, awesome. Damn, 12 submissions today, folks. Thus ends part 1. Don't go anywhere, but well, we're not going anywhere, I should say. As usual, perfect opportunity to go and get yourselves a drink, go for a little wee break. I'm not even putting up the break screen. I'm literally just going to update the stream title as we're moving on to part 2, Pillars of Eternity 2, and we'll be doing the rest of the stream going around the dead fire. Thanks to all our submissions today from, let me just make sure this is from Effects, Duncan Florence, See You Dying, and Darkins. Cheers, guys, one and all.